So this is what it's come down to. Manchester United versus Galatasaray in the Champions League. Now, yes, we have another game to go after this game, which is Bayern Munich, but we need to win this game. And I think we will win this game. But Galatasaray are no pushovers, especially in their home ground. I mean, we expected them to come to Old Trafford and we would play them off the park. But that's been with the inconsistency throughout this season for Man United. But our form has really improved, especially over the last 6 games. And that game even includes Man City, because even though we lost 3-0 against Man City, I still think we performed very decent for one of the best sides in Europe. But this is about Galatasaray and their home ground. They are one of the most hostile stadiums and one of the most hostile fans you can ever come across in Europe. And Manchester United players will have a real test tomorrow evening. So Ten Hag needs to choose a team or a squad with a lot of cool heads. Not players that will lose their temper and not players that will commit and make stupid decisions. So this is why the team that I think Ten Hag will go for in a crucial game to define our European spots, because if we don't win this game and we don't win against Bayern Munich next week, we're out of the Champions League. And I feel like this is what's going to happen. We're going to beat Galatasaray tomorrow evening. I'm going to go for a 2-0 victory for Man United. I know it's crazy. Galatasaray are no pushovers, especially in their home stadium, but this is just my opinion and why I think we're going to succeed. But I feel like we will draw against Bayern Munich at Old Trafford next week and we'll drop down to the Europa League. And we know how I feel about it. I would much rather be out of Europe than in the Europa League or stay in the Champions League. That's my opinion on it. But what team will Ten Hag go for, or what team should Ten Hag go for, is the question we should be asking. And positive news, Rasmus Højlund is back in training, and not so positive news, so is Anthony. But I don't really care about Anthony. You know how I feel about him on this channel. I feel like he's a massive liability. I think he's an absolute wally, really, and I just feel like that is best if we cut ties with Anthony. I've thrown my hands with Anthony and I will stick by that decision. I don't like the player. I think his attitude stinks and there's no potential there whatsoever. People might disagree, but that's what football's all about. But anyway, going back to the starting 11, and this is the team that I think Erik ten Hag should be going for. And for me, Onana in net. He's had very good performances in recent times. He's the top or joint top with Sam Johnson in the Premier League for most clean sheets. And we played very well against Everton. So the team's morale will be very high and the confidence levels be through the roof. So Onana stays in net for me. Wan-Bissaka returns to right back. Now, I know Diogo Dalot is very good at running up and down that right wing, but Zaha tore him to pieces in that game at Old Trafford. And I just want someone like Wan-Bissaka, who is very experienced with someone like Wilfried Zaha. They were teammates at Crystal Palace. There's been many battles with them throughout Manchester United and Crystal Palace's time. So I believe that Wan-Bissaka versus Wilfried Zaha will be very good to stop their counter-attacking style of play. Centre-backs, I do think it's going to have to be Maguire and Lindelof. I would much rather Maguire and Varane, but no doubt with the off-going situation with Varane, he won't play. And I want Varane to play because we need his experience in a game like this, but we don't know what's going on. Apparently there's a fallout between him and Ten Hag, like we mentioned in every single preview. Hopefully it gets resolved because Varane is a quality player, and I just feel like Lindelof is also a massive liability. Calvert-Lewin massively dominated him in that game, and if it wasn't for Maguire, we probably would have lost that game because Maguire pocketed Calvert-Lewin, but Lindelof really struggled against him. And with someone like Icardi, who's not very fast but is very agile, got that low centre of gravity, he could probably cause a lot of problems for someone like Lindelof. But I think Ten Hag will go with Lindelof. Luke Shaw stays at left back. I think that we miss him massively. He's one of them players where when he's playing, you realise you don't know how much you miss him when he's actually gone. He's one of them players where you don't actually value how much he brings to the team. But Luke Shaw is a massive, massive plus for this game. We didn't have him in the last game against Galatasaray, and I think that he'll be a massive boost. And plus, his leadership and what he brings to the team is absolutely massive. The midfield stays the same. Kobbie Mainoo, Scott McTominay and Bruno Fernandes. Now, McTominay I do want to mention because going forward he's absolutely brilliant. But as a ball progressive midfielder, he only had 40 touches in that Everton game for the amount of time he was on the pitch for. Which in a Ten Hag system, maybe that's why we're losing the midfield battle so much, because we don't have a proper possession box-to-box midfielder like Scott McTominay. I like Scott. He's got a massive like goal ratio, I think he's absolutely brilliant when he's going forward with the ball. But we've been over this. I think he's a massive impact player. He's a very good player for the squad. But as a starting 11, I do think we should be looking to replace him in the January transfer window if we can. But that's just my opinion. And the same goes for Eriksen. Same goes for Mount and Rabat. We need a proper box-to-box midfielder, in my opinion. And Bruno Fernandes, you saw what he did against Everton. He can have that one moment where he just makes a killer pass like he did to Martial to make it the 3-0. And Bruno Fernandes is our captain as well, so it's a no-brainer. The front line, I do make a change, and Marcus Rashford stays on the right-hand side and Alejandro Garnacho on the left, and Rasmus Højlund returns as the striker. Now, Martial had a very good brief cameo for Everton. He played, I think it was about 70 minutes, 75 minutes, and I think he played very, very well. But at the end of the day, Martial is not the main striker, Rasmus Højlund is. And we're not saying Martial cannot play. Maybe bring him on in 60th, 70th minutes because, you know, Rasmus Højlund has only just come back from an injury. So you want to kind of preserve that and make sure Rasmus Højlund's injury doesn't continue. Because, yes, he's back in training, but no doubt Ten Hag will want to be on the precaution with Rasmus Højlund in this game against Galatasaray, because Galatasaray are a very physical team, and no doubt Rasmus Højlund will get fouled quite a lot. He did in the game against Copenhagen, he did in the game against Galatasaray and Bayern Munich. He's a massive threat, and for people who don't rate him, that's on you, but this striker is going to be a very, very special player one day, and thankfully he plays for Manchester United. But Galatasaray, I've already said, they set up with their counter-attacking style of football, and their formation, which is a 4-3-3, it seems like a very standard box-to-box and counter-attacking style football. Now, with their midfielders, like I said, the box-to-box style, everything resolves around their midfield, whether it's passing it forward, passing it diagonal or sideways or backwards. They don't play out from the back. They build up through their midfield, and they're very dangerous because they do like to overload and constantly press the midfield. And with Man United's midfield being very vulnerable in the last few games, I feel like that they are going to punish us at times. But Kobbie Mainoo, I think, is a true professional. He's only 18 years old, and what he did at Goodison Park, he looks like a true Man United player. Roy Keane said it best. He looks like a proper Man United player, brave, confident, and the willingness to take risks. And that's the perfect definition of youth players, because they want to impress and they want to show what they're made of, and they will take more risks than the regular senior player. And that's what we want to see from someone like Mainoo, someone who's not going to get a lot of stake, because he's already set the standard now. He's already established himself in this Man United fan base, and for the fans who didn't see him before the Everton game, they got a massive appreciation towards him, because that's what Mainoo's been doing throughout pre-season, earlier this season, for the youth academy teams for so long now. And I think Mainoo is a very good prospect. The whole world knows how good Mainoo is, and I can't wait to see him under Ten Hag. And my only concern is starting him too early, because, you know, this will be his Champions League debut in the space. And don't forget as well, we would have played Everton, we would have had Galatasaray and Newcastle on Saturday in the space of 6 days. That's a lot for an 18-year-old, and I don't want him to get exhausted straight away. We should be nurturing him, and we shouldn't be relying on him straight away. I know he's massive in quality, but, you know, sometimes you've got to reserve him as well. And yes, Casemiro's out injured, and Rabat's not playing for some reason. So at the end of the day, we've got to play Mainoo, but hopefully Ten Hag is smart with the managerial side of what he's going to do with Mainoo. But score predictions, I've already said 2-0 to Man United. I feel like it's going to be a very tough game. There's going to be a lot of moments from Galatasaray, then they will get in behind our defensive line. But hopefully Andre Onana can keep a clean sheet and keep our Champions League hopes alive. It's all about who wants it more. And realistically, I'd love to see Man United stay in the Champions League. It's been so long since we've been in this competition, and it'd be such a shame for us to go out in this style, in my opinion. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you for watching. Leave a like on the video and subscribe if you are new, as we continue our road to 1,000 subscribers. Thank you for watching.